Hey, g'day everybody, it's Matt here from Matt Carves. How you guys all going? Just getting set up here. Hope you're all going well. And okay, so I think the mic's working and all that. Worked out how to check it myself without any viewers going on. So this week I had a great week, and I carved a really crazy kind of carving, and I think you might have seen it. I will show you this one here. It is this one here. Check that out. So it worked out really, really well, and the skull on it was quite cool. It's the first skull I've ever carved, actually. So I got actually, let's reach over here. So I got this from a guy who sold me a computer, and he had this in the back room, and he'd been printing these out. So I thought, oh yeah, could I ask for this? And he said, yeah, sure. And so it's quite cool because now I can sort of like carve skulls and have a really, really cool kind of like reference to it, which is always makes carving a whole lot easier, you know. So anyway, so today we're going to have a look at some of the safety gear I use, and maybe I'll give you a few tips and tricks. But I'm also going to answer questions as I go along. I'm just sort of like waving this around. I'm not sure why. Okay, we'll put. I should name them really. Can you guys give me a name for this guy and whoever comes up with a name first, Ernie or Bert or Harold. I don't know. I always think male. I always think skulls are males. I don't know. Anyway. Going a bit off tangent here, we'll put it back over there. Okay. So, safety. Okay, so I use this mask here, and it's a 3M mask, and I've seen a lot of people using this. I see Uncle Kevin Carve uses it on his channel. And the reason why I like it is it's very comfortable. And this is a silicone sort of like piece that goes around your mouth like that. And what the great thing about these masks is there's an inflow and an outflow. So what I mean by that is, so these are filters that come off and on. So that air goes through the filter into this valve, and I'm try and show you here. Need a pen or something. So that valve there, and then if you push it in, you can see those little valves there. They actually come out. Bang. So that's that there. So as you breathe in, the valve sort of like sucks in like that, but as you breathe out, it pushes back against the hole. So you're not breathing out through the filter, but you're actually breathing out through that hole there, which also has a kind of a stop valve on it. And what I found, like, the benefit of that is really it stops your glasses getting fogged up. And the reason why I found is the exhaust sort of like goes out and it goes down. So this is sitting on your face, you're breathing in, and the air is coming down like that. So I always say, like, when I first started carving, I'd try and use like these kind of things, which are, they're better than nothing, I guess, but they don't fit on the face very well. And the air that you breathe out tends to sort of like seep out there and go into your glasses. So they don't sort of like, yeah. So I went to, these are semi-expensive. This was, I think, $70 New Zealand. So this is a part that is permanent, and then you buy these filters. So I buy them in like a 2-pack like this. And these are P100 filters, and they all have different numbers on them, and they all mean different things. These are the ones that I can buy at the moment. You can get specialized woodworking ones, but I believe like P100 will sort of get rid of most of the things that you want. Like, and this is in woodworking, it's not in like organic vapors and all of that kind of stuff. So I do actually have some organic cartridges as well, and this is good for like if you're doing spray painting or things like that. So the great thing about this is then you just click on those and you're away to go with those. So you don't want to use these with woodworking because you'll just clog up the filters. So we've got that there, and you can actually get a filter that goes over the top of that. So, and it does actually work because I do a lot of like varnishing and all of that kind of stuff, and without the mask, you can smell the vapor, but with the mask, with these on, you can't smell it, so you know they're working then. And these have sort of like a lifetime, I believe, of around about 6 months. When you open it, whether you open it, well, these ones have got carbon in it as well. So I'm not exactly sure what this. There's so many of these different types, but like some have different things for different chemicals. But P100 sort of like gets rid of like, I think it's like 99.5% of particles in the air, but that doesn't include like chemical particles. It's more like dust particles. So I was just looking for this. I was actually I got heaps of these old ones, and I'll just show you what's actually in them. So when you cut one open, virtually it's just layers of, say you've got that pink layer there, then you've got another layer of, it looks like just this sort of like a material. I would say that would be the carbon layer, and then there is another layer of material, and then there's this kind of, oh, I don't think I actually showed you that. Okay, so I'll go through that again. So there's that pink layer there, and then there's that sort of layer of material there, and then a carbon layer, and then another layer of material, and then that layer there. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, they're pretty complex as opposed to something like this where it's sort of just one layer, and the fit isn't great on them either. So, so that's kind of like the mask that I use. You know, I see lots of people wearing different masks. I see those sort of like neoprene masks that go around, and I'm sure they're great. And I think those have filters in them as well. So, but what I like about this one is I can wear it all day. It's, you know, it's not really, really comfortable, but you know, it's better than some masks. And wearing a mask all day is pretty uncomfortable. I also modified it a little bit, and I put the sort of like this material on these plastic straps because they sort of like sit on the top of your head. It doesn't move. It's really well designed like that to sort of like, because there's a strap that goes sort of like over the top of your head here, and these two go around your neck, and it's all very adjustable. I've had this for about 2 years now, and you can actually wash all of this. You can get spare replacement sort of parts for it as well. I think it's a really good option for wood carvers, power carvers, all of that. There's I guess the next level above that would be those real sort of like spacey kind of looking ones with the battery powered take on that have filters on. I think they're around about $800 and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely not going to buy one of those. So, okay. So, what else have we got? Yeah. Okay. So that is the mask, and I thought I'd just talk a little bit about the glasses that I wear. And so I wear these 3M glasses. Pretty much glasses are much of a muchness. I do like these because they've got this sort of like separating kind of bit at the back. And one of the biggest things, what happens in eye injuries, is where you get hit in the eye without wearing them. But you can actually get injuries where they're wearing these. And what it is it will hit here and then go up into your eye. So especially actually I've found like wearing this, because sometimes it's sort of like got a bit of an angle and will come flying up even more. So that stops some of it, but if you want to stop all of the flying around materials, I find especially sort of like something like these goggles are really, really good. So and they've got so they form a seal in there, and so I'll only wear these in sort of like special kind of carves that I'm carving really, really a lot of material out, and it's like I'm using maybe like a Arbortech ball gouge or something like that, and it's flying up at my face or something like that. That's when you want to use one of these. And I find also, like, let's put those all to one side. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, I was actually just going to talk about, I use these 3M Bluetooth earmuffs, and I've had them for about 2 years. I think they're actually a really good bargain, actually. They were around about, I think they're only around about $70, and these ones have lasted quite a while because they kind of get like dropped all the time and all of that kind of stuff. So they're well made, and you can actually, there's a little button on the side, and you can sort of like, if you're listening to Spotify or you listen to YouTube Premium, you can actually just tap on the button here and it will take it to the next song. So I find when I'm doing a really, really long carve, I like to listen to music or podcasts, and sometimes I'll watch YouTube channels if I'm doing really laborious kind of sanding and all that kind of stuff, and it sort of makes carving a little bit nicer. You know, you're sort of blocking out the noise and you're listening to something nice as well. So yeah, you don't want to have it up too loud though, because then you'll be just damaging your ears with like music as opposed to the sound of like the machine that you're using. So yeah, no, these are really, really good. I would recommend these. But I think like all the safety gear, it's sort of like a personal choice. You sort of get to find the ones that you like yourself. So so that's pretty much it on the safety gear that I use. And you probably noticed that I don't wear gloves. And oh, hi, Twisted Art Lady, how you going? Welcome. I'm just talking about safety and wood carving, and I've just gone through all of sort of the filters and the eye protection and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I was talking about just then. And so I was just going to talk about gloves a little bit. And a lot of people wear leather gloves when they're power carving, and I think that's all right. You don't want to wear any other kind of gloves when you're power carving, because other gloves have a tendency to get caught up in sort of like the spikes, especially of these little, well, these bears have really, really sharp spikes on them. And when they're spinning, they'll tend to get caught up in the material of the glove. Hey, Dances with Aardvarks, how you going? So yeah, so I tend to wear no gloves when I'm power carving, and a lot of woodworkers you'll see, even like in big machinery, they won't wear gloves, and the reason for that is gloves loose material have a tendency to maybe get sucked into a machine. There are some machines that you could probably wear gloves on, but like things that sort of like have moving blades that go into something, or sort of sanders with rotating aspects to them. Gloves and loose clothing are really sometimes more dangerous than anything. So you want to kind of stay away from wearing gloves and loose clothing. So I was just showing before, I'm not sure if you've seen it all, but that was the carving that I did this week. And it's a pretty mad carving. Yeah, it's like a snail with a house and a skeleton and a gun and all that. And the reason why I did that was on the live a couple of weeks ago, I had all these cards and I got the people in the live to draw the cards, pick a number on the card, and we drew these ones. So I drew sort of like the snail there and the thumb, and the thumb is this part on here. That's a little thumb there. And I drew some crystals as well. So I made these little crystals out of just some perspex, which is or acrylic. That's what they call it around the world as well. And it was just like an orange acrylic, which is shaped that into that. So that was this week's carve. That was a really, really long carve. So like it went on for quite a while. It was all the like little tiny bits and pieces. Sort of like even like the gun took a while, and the arms, and then I made the hands separately. The skull took quite a while, and the spinal cord, I did that by just doing sort of like a little piece of wood, and I shaped it. It was about that long. Then I cut it up into segments, and I drilled a hole in each one, and then I threaded each piece like beads onto that part, and then glued it so it was sort of quite stable. So quite happy with how that turned out, actually. Quite cool. That's pretty bad, I know. Okay. So I was just going to go. This is going to be a really, really, really long live today, but I was going to show you some instances, sort of how to carve safely. Yeah, it was a few days work. Yeah, it was, and when you're filming as well, it takes a lot longer. It takes probably twice as long, and then you've got to edit it at the end, and it's just it was a long process, but it was fun, and it was sort of like it was nice because it had all these different pieces, and then all of a sudden at the end, over like half an hour, I just glued them all together, and it kind of emerged. Yeah, so which was really nice. So yeah, put that on my shelf there. Okay, so I think, have you guys got any questions at all? Well, welcome to ask them. I can go into answering any questions about safety or my carvings or anything like that. Okay. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll show you how I carve kind of safely, and how to hold your hands on a piece of wood so you don't hit your hands when you carve it. So, and also so like bird choice as well. Like you can choose different birds that are safer than other birds, and I'll show you what I mean. So I just got to like organize a couple of things. I'm just going to grab a piece of wood. and I will show you, and I'll just move the camera so it's in view of the table. Okay, just moving to the camera. Sorry about, looks like a bit of an earthquake happening, probably. Okay, so, okay, so that is my workshop actually. So, got a few machines over there. So I've just changed the camera from front facing to back facing. Get confused. Right. Okay. Hope that all makes sense. All right. Nice piece of purple heart there. Lower it down a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. Try and get a little bit lower. Okay, so when I carve, I have I usually have like a piece of, I usually do small carvings, so I like to be comfortable. So I usually have a piece of foam on this hand, and then I can sort of like really press my hand into the table. Here I've got a, yeah, so here I've got a Cutzel fine taper burr, but like this one is the one you've really got to watch out for. So this is like the extreme burr. So, and I'll just show you, and when I'm carving really, really close to my fingers. So if I'm doing sort of stuff like this, I'm holding this like this, I'm going to use this burr here. Okay, so if I'm carving close to my fingers, I'll use this burr here because you can actually, you know, you can touch your finger with it and not cause too much damage. Well, if you held it there, it would start burning before it starts cutting. You probably, like, if you hit it really hard, like if you hit it like that, you would cause damage. So whenever you're sort of carving really close to your fingers, I tend to go down in the fineness of a burr. So I might do sort of like something like this, or I might look at sort of these diamond burrs as well. So that's a really kind of, it's like sandpaper. And yeah, that's another diamond burr. So you can always sort of like, if you feel a little bit cautious, just use sort of like quite fine burrs. This is sort of like a cutter, and it will actually cut your fingers. So be very careful with those, and be very careful with the extreme burrs as well. Right. Okay, who's in the chat at the moment? Okay, hey Jim, how you going? Oh, cool. Dances with Aardvark. Yeah, I do clamp my wood down sometimes, actually. I clamp it a lot of the time when I am carving something like, oh, I misplaced it. Where did I put it? Anyways, those little boats that I've got, so I'll screw it onto a piece of wood, like say like this, which would be bigger, of course, but say like the boat's on there, and then I will clamp the wood down to the table. If you can't sort of like clamp the wood, sometimes the wood's in funny kind of shape, so you can't clamp it down very easily. So I'll put a couple of screws through a bit of wood and into your sculpture at the bottom, and then you can sort of like move the wood around or clamp it onto the table or hold the piece away from your hand. And that's especially really useful if you're using sort of like grinders and stuff like that, because I use the Arbortech ball gouge on some of my works to make hollows. Sort of, actually, I think, oh no. So like, so I use something like a ball gouge in there to make the hollow. But it's all about things. Sometimes is about like I guess the way you approach it. So I would carve that hollow out first, and so I'd still be able to clamp down the piece of wood that surrounds it. So if you configure that sort of like a square piece of wood, and then you sort of clamp it down and then carve out the hollow and then work on the outside. So yeah. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of a jeweler's ring clamp. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the ring clamp itself. I'm taking it's quite small, and yeah, I've got some smaller clamps as well, some little dainty sort of like vices. It's probably the same thing actually. So I will show you on this one, sort of, let's put the extreme burr on. So this is a burr that a lot of people use. So when you're carving, I'll show you which like I'll explain it first. So this, let's see. So when you're carving, you're on here and you're carving. This here is probably not going to run off at all, but sort of I'll show you dangerous things to do. Sort of like if you're coming up to a corner, you can imagine sort of like those spikes going around the corner and grabbing onto the corner, and then what will happen is it'll spin around like this. So you don't. So say this wood is a lot bigger, and I've got maybe my finger like that or something like that, and it's going to run like that. Also, I'll show you on sort of like something like this. Sort of if you're going along here like this, and you've got your finger there, it's going to go over the edge and sort of get you there. So you've always got to like think of the run out of the burr. I'm just reading your comment. Dances with Airbags. 2 pieces of wood, 6 inches long, half long. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I have to have a look at that, see if I could use it. I tend to get by with just using like everybody sort of like has different styles of carvings. So what kind of carvings do you do, Dances with Airbags? So do you do smaller carvings like this or bigger sort of wood spirits? I think on the wood spirits you can quite easily keep your hand away because you've got quite a lot of wood to hold on to. So pretty much, you're rotating like this. The thing's going to rotate like that. So it's always going to go away from you like that. The reason why you're going to hit your hand over here is probably just because listening to music on your headphones, and you're away with the fairies, and you accidentally just hit it like this. So you got to, be active when you're carving, especially with these in, and think about what you're actually doing. So I'll just show you. Actually, I'll just turn this on and I'll show you how that jumps around. So safely you can sort of go like this pretty easily. But if you were to do that, it's sort of just spin. Well, talk about safety. My bird just flew out. Okay, I don't think I tightened it in. Right, that was that one. Okay, let's tighten that back in. Yeah, always tighten your bird, not like I just did. I just did that for I did that to demonstrate not what to do. Cool. All sorts from very small to totem poles, powered and chiseled. Cool. You know a lot about this in Dances of Adverts. You're probably pretty safety conscious. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So yeah, that's safe, pretty safe doing that. Even going around the corner like that, but you don't want to go around the corner like this. Just go like that, or that edge there. So yeah, that's always sort of like the danger area, doing things like that, and it'll run off. But I've always, I think that's a benefit of having this hand on here too, is it's not got a long way to run. So I think it's probably more easy for me to do that because I'm doing all these small carvings. So I tend to be carving a lot like this. I actually, the biggest injury I have is putting this thumb sort of like here and just slipping under there, and then it'll start burning. I always get that. Yeah. So that's the multi-chick that I'm using, and I find it really, really good because I do a lot of burr changes when I am carving. So yeah, so pretty much I'll show you all my burrs. So those are all the burrs there that I use. If you got questions about any of them, what I use them for and all of that. I find these ones actually pretty nice. They have very limited use. They're quite specialized. But sometimes once I've been in with like the ball gouge, I'll go in with something like that, and I'll take out bits like this. I found I do like the Cutzel sphere burrs as well, and I carved the bottom of the skull out with that. Can't really see it there, but all in there was just going in there with that. That was quite good. I sort of go in with the extreme burr and then the other burr, or the other finer burrs. So I've got that extreme one, and then I've got this fine one here. And getting back, enjoying your lockdown up in Kapiti Coast. We're all in. For those who don't know, New Zealand's gone into lockdown now. I think it's coming out maybe this Friday. We might be coming out. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. So these sort of thinking about what I'm going to talk about next. Okay, so yeah, so I have actually been experimenting with cleaning these birds. You can see that one. I need to clean my nails as well. It's getting pretty gummed up. I have actually just been soaking them, but I've noticed like if I burn them and then use a little wire brush, they come up really, really nice. So that one there looked like that one. Try and get the focus right. Looked like that one before. And I soaked it overnight and then I burnt it and it came out quite nice actually. So I find these sort of like burrs that have the finer burrs will gum up more, I guess, because the wider the gaps in between the spikes, they're not going to really hold anything. Whereas the fine burrs really sort of like hold it a lot more. Oh yeah. Sorry, sorry, Mark. Yeah, we haven't got any kids, so it's kind of like just carving time for me, really. But nothing really changes when I'm in lockdown. I just carve and just make jewelry and all of that. So I make wooden jewelry for anyone who doesn't know. So, right. Okay. So, just a question to everyone: How do you clean your burrs? I'm leaning towards burning at the moment. I know, like on the Cutsaw site, they talk about you can soak it, you can burn it. It's another method. Can't remember it. Anyway, they give you all these different methods. I always thought burning it would sort of like alter the steel, but it doesn't seem to. So, and if they say, you could do that, it's probably all right. Yes. Right. Okay. We're gonna get onto your drawing in the next couple of weeks, Mark. I thought I'd leave it a little while and then move on to that soon. So I was just talking before, Mark, about like what safety gear I was using. Yeah, Jim, I don't, Jim, I honestly, I'll use with cleaning. I'm not a big fan of cleaning them. I just keep on using them. So I was using that one the other day. It still seemed to work all right. Yeah, I don't know. You kind of think it wouldn't work okay, but I'll show you. I think it still works all right. So this is a fine burr. Probably burns it a little bit more, but I don't know. Seems to still work all right. I think the fine burrs really, really clog up. You can see sort of like the purple heart in there now. Oh yeah, dances over. I soak in resin cleaner and brush. Yeah, I used a stuff called Miracle Clean. It's sort of it's maybe meth and some kind of thinners as well. It probably doesn't matter what you actually soak it in. It's I guess it's just as long as it's penetrating the actually gummed up stuff, and sort of just loosening it, and then the wire brush sort of like pulls it out. I don't know, it's always nice to have cleaner kind of stuff. I need to work out I got to try soaking these burrs here. These are diamond burrs. These are actually quite nice diamond burrs, but you find like they even get gummed up. Yeah, Mac. I'm not gonna do your drawing this week. I'm gonna maybe do something a little bit simpler because yeah, the this work here that I did this week um took it out of me. It was 2 whole days of carving and filming and then editing, and it was a long process, and it's sort of like I was thinking, oh, I should be doing other stuff, but I just carried on. I just really wanted to see it finished, So I'd sort of like do a real hard carving and then go, oh, I'm going to do a simple carving now, just because of the time aspects of them. I really want to go back, though. I know it's going to be hard, and do the knight and the queen of these. But these, although they look simple, they're really, really hard. Is 3-dimensional carving, you really have to like be on your game and sort of like think of all the angles that you're doing. And so what I tend to do with these ones is I'll go into the computer and I will look. And I'll look at, sorry, I just saw something on my other screen. It shouldn't be there. It says call Emily Dixon. I think it's Google recognized something I said. Anyway, okay, so back to this. So these are really, really difficult to carve, and I found like there's a program on the computer and you can look at a lot of these kind of things in 3 dimensions. So you can sort of like use your mouse and it'll move it around like this in the 3 dimensions of the originals, which are kept in sort of the museums overseas. And so what I do is I take a screenshot of that. I think I've explained this before. So that's really useful. But I should really do a video on how I carve 3 dimensions, because it's actually quite a long process. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. That, when it looks simple once you've done it, but sort of like when you're faced with just a blank piece of wood, you're trying to take it down and onto the shield and leaving the sword, leave some area for the hand to go on. Yes, Dances with Artifacts. It is one of the lowest chess pieces, and I did the king as well. So that was, I think they were both probably about as hard as each other, but the knight's going to be really hard because the knight is on a horse. So yeah. These are my favorite carving section, to be honest. There's something nostalgic about them. Right. Yeah, Jim, it did turn out really, really good. It brought a smile to my face when I finished it. Yeah. I've seen people carve big ones as well, Dance with the Artifacts. They are cool. I love the Berserker. Berserker is just so nice to look at. Oh, I got everything upside down. Sorry about that. Not sure how to fix that. Anyway, has anyone got any questions at all? And I'll answer some questions if anyone's got any. Show you a few of my other works. Let's see. Chicken bowl. I made it out of this really light wood. It's called macrocarpa. It's not the best for carving. You can see it's chipped at the end. And it's not a Lewis chess piece, but it is quite similar. And what I did with that one is I put instead of, you can hold little cutsaw pieces. It's a cutsaw holder. All of those are made out of oak. What else have we got here? Got my little rat. Made that ages ago. He's really complicated as well. So he's a marionette. So, and that is the fire-breathing dragon. So he comes off there. So that's that little fella. And that's the skull that we were the 3D printed skull. And these are made with drill bits. So I don't often do wood spirits. I guess this is actually the closest I've done to a wood spirit. I just did it with drill bits to prove that you could actually just carve with drill bits. Yeah, that it is quite cool, that rat. My wife hates it, Mark. She thinks it's creepy, which is probably true. So, yeah. So I did these wooden. I saw a thing on the internet with these. I really, really like them, so I made these wooden pictures as well, and just use the grain there so it looks 3D, which is quite cool. Yeah, that one there. Yes, so that is where I work, and that's the messy side. Well, it's not that messy. I don't think it's that messy. So, yeah, pretty much that's the. I'll show you. Actually, people sort of don't realise when you're filming things, it's all about camera angles and all of that kind of stuff. So I have. I'm just holding the camera now, but this is what I put it on. So that will go up and down, and then I've got that light over there. That's remote control, so I can increase it and decrease it. So I might call it a day now and head off and do some. Actually, I've got to do bookwork today, which is not very exciting. So anyway, hey, thank you everybody for coming along. If nobody's got any questions, I will shoot off, and you guys have a good day as well. Okay, so we will see you later, and happy carving, happy safe carving as well. Okay, see you everybody.